Hi folks, and welcome back to Meaningful Money. Right, here I am in possibly the least interesting backdrop you've ever seen me in. You know I'm normally outside, so it's unusual for me to be inside. This is my garage, newly decorated to be a kind of a workroom, study, utility storage type place. So it's quiet and it's reasonably bright in here, so the weather is against us, unfortunately, as is time. So very busy and pretty rubbish weather outside. So here I am inside. Hope you don't mind. It's the content that matters, though. Thought I'd do a quick one-off about ethical investing, something which may or may not be on your radar, but hopefully after this it'll pique your interest enough to go and find out a little bit more about it. Now, as ever, before we get into that, my good friends down here in the bottom right, Seven Investment Management, who sponsor me, and Meaningful Money and help me to keep going. So I must thank them very much. I'm very grateful. And somebody else I must thank, actually, my friend and Twitter buddy, Jeremy Newbegin of The Ethical Partnership. His website address I shall put here, just below my chin. Jeremy's been very kind in helping me, just sort of helping me with the basics of ethical investing, enough to get this video done, that I suggest you give his website a look, because he can certainly help you more. Now, ethical investing, the history of it goes back, arguably anyway, a couple of hundred years, all the way back to 1758, when the Philadelphia meeting of the local Society of Friends, otherwise known as Quakers, sort of passed a motion to ban their members from investing in the slave trade. That was incompatible with their Christian beliefs, and some say that that was the sort of first example of ethical investing. But you can trace it right through. Religion has had a large part to do with it, perhaps understandably. So John Wesley, famous founder of the Methodists, famous preacher, he had a sermon called The Use of Money. And his principle on that was to avoid hurting your neighbour through business practices and to avoid industries where workers could be harmed, things like chemical production and things like that. So tanning, where the chemicals being used were harmful. So the Methodists would avoid investing in industries like that. So there's a very long history, even all the way through Martin Luther King, and then the trade unions were a big part of the sort of history of ethical investing. All I wanted to do really is to explain something which was new to me when I heard it, which was there are essentially two types of ethical investing: socially responsible investing and then ethical investing. So let's deal with socially responsible investing first. Now, the thing about socially responsible investing is that it's all about the investments you make making a positive contribution to the world. So I'm just going to scooch a little bit and bring in a graphic, because socially responsible investing would cover the sorts of things you see here. So it includes, conservation of energy resources, natural resources generally. Companies which have a strong community involvement. It's positive investing, investing for the good of the community, the planet, and things like that. Now compare that to ethical investing, which is not quite the opposite, but the flip side, if you like. It's negative criteria. Now, rather than talking about positive contributions, you're talking about avoiding negative things. So companies involved with perhaps trading with oppressive regimes, or gambling, pornography, the arms trade, things like that. Ethical investing would include avoiding such investments. So those are all that you can see here on the graphic. Those are the sorts of things which would be under ethical investing. So you've got socially responsible being all about positive contribution to society and the planet and community, and ethical investing being more about avoiding negative impact. So I'll just shift the graphic. Now actually, ethical investing, socially responsible investing is a pretty broad church, and there are some really good funds around, positive funds, negative funds, and so an expert in this field would be able to put you together a pretty broad, balanced portfolio. Back in the day, there was just the Stewardship Fund, which I think was an F&C, Foreign and Colonial Fund, but now there are many, many funds available, some specific sort of niche type funds, more general balance type funds. So somebody who's an expert in their field would know how to access all those and put together a portfolio which can, you know, help you achieve your needs while keeping those ethical standards intact. As with any kind of narrowing of the investment universe, one needs to be careful because it can increase the risk. It doesn't automatically increase the risk by narrowing your field to sort of ethically acceptable investments. Again, a good ethical advisor would be able to navigate that and build you a portfolio which doesn't necessarily need to be any higher risk than a portfolio which has no ethical constraints. So quite a short one this, it's just I wanted to explain those two differences. I'll bring up the website address for the Ethical Partnership, Jeremy is a good guy, shares many things in common with me, and I urge you to check them out. Certainly they are experts in their field where I most certainly am not. So if ethical investing is important to you, then give the guys at the Ethical Partnership a call. I should say they haven't paid me to say that, but I like Jeremy very much, he's a good guy. So I hope that's helpful. Leave any questions and I'll either answer them or pass you off to Jeremy to answer them. But thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you next time.